Then you ask me to do something else. I always do this. And then you don't even consider getting me any help. Now you want to tell me, I understand you want to tell me now, I got to do minutes, I got to do this, I got to do that. And then you're going to hold me responsible. Yes, it's all under my realm, but there's not one person that can do a job, that total job. So and then you told me when we met that you expected me to do it until.
No, now, let's tell what, the story, the way it is. I didn't tell you, you told me, well, you called me later and told me that you can't do this. Now, I've entered this going in to help you because I don't know anything about this, taking this monies, and I don't want to get into an area that I'm not supposed to be in. But I came to try to get this done for you. Now, to help you out.
You're not helping me out by just keep giving me stuff. And
I haven't given you anything else.
No, you can't give me anything else because you done given me everything. Well, I'm trying to tell you, I already asked before you gave me this last task. I've already asked for help, but you continue. Now you give me another task.
What task did I give you, Tracy?
You to do this pension stuff. That's the task that you're giving me now.
The pension, okay. I said in the last meeting, I would go in and try to assist you.
You can't do it. You said, well, you just said it now, you can't do it. So who does that label on to me? Again, I'm asking for help. What kind of help are you going to give me? It doesn't have to be, I could take on some tasks. If you can't do that, what can you do? Can you type the minutes? Okay, we can't get the minutes done, so that's not getting done. What else can you do to help me instead of giving me stuff that you can't do?
Now, I'm not here to give you, you're the fiscal officer, and I'm not, that's not a task that I'm supposed to. We don't need to be here at this place. We can deal with this later. Now, we've
already took 2 years to do it. It needs to be dealt with now, today.
No, we can't deal with this now. We are working on something, and it's going to take us a couple weeks to get it done.
Okay, so we won't deal with it today. So that means everybody who's on a pension plan will not get their pension credit at this time.
Well, no, this is
not doing it on time when we do it.
Let me just say this. I'm not the fiscal officer. I tried to come in here and do something. I tried to do something to help you out.
What did you do? Tell me what you did to help me out.
I told you I would go in and help you get this figured out. You said you didn't know anything about this.
How are you going to help me figure it out if you don't know how to do it?
Well, then normally you would go to somebody that knows how to do this and talk to them and find out what needs to be done and see if they will give us some help.
So you're telling me that I'm supposed to do some more work, right?
No, I'm not telling you. You told me you can do it, and then I haven't came back to you and said anything else. So what I'm telling you, Mr. Man, I
don't think you're listening. This needs to be done within less than a week.
I understand. You keep giving me a time frame, but I have never done this. I came, like I'm saying, I came to you on Zoom here at the last meeting and told you that I will try to help you get this done.
And we met on a Friday, and I told you, yes, I could do it, but I look into it, and I'll let you know on that Monday whether I'll be able to do it. And did I not call you on Monday and tell you I would not be able to do it?
Correct. But I can't go in here and do this on my own. I don't want to get into certain information dealing with people. And
okay, so I understand that. So what I'm asking you is this, Mr. Man. Take something that you can do, that you guys given to me. You take that on, and I can handle it. But my plate is full. is what I'm telling you.
If you give me some time, the plan is to do something here.
Giving you some time. So what time do I need to give you? I gave you 2 weeks.
I'm saying we need approximately 2 weeks.
You need 2 more weeks. And then when that time comes, you'll need 2 more weeks.
Now, you asked me a question.
No, I'm saying you guys had a chance. You knew Adrian left a month ago.
Tracy, either if you can wait.
You're taking this all by yourself.
I'm
need to talk. You 3 trustees need to talk.
No, well, 2 of us trustees had already talked. Now.
Okay, so now somebody needs to make a decision. It only takes 2 to make the decision.
That's where we are right now.
We did make a decision.
Okay, but you only have 2 weeks to get this data into the system.
Tracy, is just like, there's some things you can do right away and some things you can't. Now,
okay, and that's what I'm telling you. I can't do that. I can't do that right away.
Well, I can't do anything myself right now.
Okay, so I understand what you're telling me. This is this. That we will not be getting the pension plans in there for our employees.
I have never entered anything.
That's not what I asked you.
That's what I'm telling you. I have never did anything.
But what does that do with getting the data entered? Please tell me how that's going to get the data entered.
It's not going to happen.
Okay, that's all I want you to say. It's not going to happen. Okay. So you need to let your employees know that on a pension plan, they will not get their pension for this time. It will be late. And and the citizens need to know that there will be a penalty and their money is being wasted because you guys did not make a decision in a timely manner.
Well, whatever
you need to know, the citizens need to know that.
However you
That's all that needs to be discussed.
Tracy.
That's all that needs to be discussed. That's it. We're done. I just wanted to bring it up.
Let's move on to the department reports. Fire department.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This month's report, trustees, Ms. Edwards, Mr. Wolf should have received it today, email. Worked on paying bills with Ms. Edwards this month, or last 2 weeks as usual. Responded to emails and multiple voicemails. We had the monster truck rally at the fairgrounds this past weekend. We had 2 medics, an engine, and 5 to 6 department members, plus myself there, over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, at 4 different shows, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Friday and Sunday. We had 1 patient that fell, requested no transport. We actually made no transports and had no fires. So it was an amazing event for the activities, the crowd, and as widespread it was, went off very well. Personnel-wise, Chief's working still on his promotion list of new officer positions. Station maintenance, the usual daily station chores were completed. Crews continuing to clean up Station 59, getting it ready for the remodel and repopulating that with crews, hopefully in the near future. Duty crews continuing to mow around Station 60 and up and down Business Park Drive. Had to have both springs replaced on the bay door over top of the engine. The contractor did that. One broke. The chief went ahead and replaced both since they had it all tore apart. EMS-wise, continued QA/QI on run reports. Hands-on in-house training conducted at 60. And fire-wise, training-wise, Rescue 61 training by the duty crews continuing. Chief's hoping to put that piece of equipment, the new Rescue 61, formerly the Quick Attack Bumper, as it was called, put it in service this Friday, hopefully. Daily shift fire training is continuing at Station 60. Vehicle maintenance, the chief's car had its final touches coming, should be done in a week. We just moved it today to Station 60. We'll go to a different vendor tomorrow for some tweaks, and hopefully in a week you'll have it, and it'll be seen around the township. Quartermaster, myself, had 15 sets of new bunker gear, should be arriving any day. This was purchased with CARES Act funds, got 5 additional sets ordered with those funds. They're still saying lead time anywhere from 3 to 4 months due to COVID shutting the factories down or the assembly lines down for fire gear. The remainder of the fire department got sized last Monday and will be sized shortly. waiting on additional funds. So we'll at least have our people's sizes on record that when we do get additional funds to buy fire pants and coats, we're ready to go. Under IT communications, all the cardiac monitors and all 3 ambulances have been interfaced with the new iPhones and iPads, so they're able to transmit to the hospital. Fire prevention had no commercial businesses inspected in the last 2 weeks. And again, as I said earlier, had the monster truck rally this past week at fairgrounds, and I inspected all the food vendors, the tents and the trucks prior to the show starting. HR report, got 2 new hires that just came off of orientation, now picking up daily shifts. The new hire that you approved for tonight should be in Friday with me for filling out the HR paperwork and having his IT day, email, TrackSmart, and all the computer software, uniforms, everything set up on Friday. And we had no public records requests, either fire or EMS. Any questions from the trustees?
Mr. Wilcox,
Sure.
how many personnel do you have on the fire department as of
I believe
today?
we're running right now about 48, counting the chief and myself.
All right, thank you. Road department.
Good evening, trustees, fiscal officer, and the community. The road department's been very active, and the grass is growing. And many of you attending this meeting have made phone calls about high weeds, so they're beginning the mowing of the properties. Little highlight about what they've done. Staff took a spray license test on 510 in Greene County. We'll see what the results come back from that. Answered a complaint on Hackett at the corner of Fortman and Hackett. There was a large bush, line of sight problem, a maroon tree bush that's in the right of way between the sidewalk and the curb, and we're trying to talk to the homeowner about what to do because it's a beautiful, expensive tree. They pothole patched some of Forney Road. They did some patching on Knox Avenue. They also patched several holes on Weaver. They mowed and trimmed Station 59 2 times, mowed, trimmed Station 61 2 times, mowed Forney Road Cemetery 2 times, mowed and trimmed Lower Miami Cemetery 2 times, mowed the cemetery on Germantown Liberty, picked up dumped junk on Oberlin around the an abandoned or what might be an abandoned junkyard. People are dumping on the curbs around the outside. So we have the sheriff's department working with us with a camera to try to catch people that are dumping there. They tampered the Blairwood parking area, which we had discussed over the last several weeks. They created a parking area in the Blairwood Park. They mowed Blairwood Park 2 times, picked up 7 loads of trash, full truckloads of trash from the prisoners that are picking up now. There are limited crews, 4 people at a time allowed by the court to pick up trash. They picked up, the road department themselves picked up trash on Huffman and Weaver roads, removed the tree off of Forney, continued a large tree cutback project on Colgate. They pothole patched on Mile Road, but only some areas. Cleaned up trash for the 3rd time this month at the Point, which is a never-ending dumping site along Dayton Liberty. Cleaned up 7 dumped mattresses just in the last week. They started the nuisance, as I mentioned and alluded to earlier. They mowed this last week. They mowed 14 weed lots that were designated by the code enforcement officer to mow. They mowed both sides of Bricker, both sides of Holt Road, and both sides of Calumet Drive. They did a lot of in-house repairs. Trustees, you can look at that. We had to have Dayton Tire come repair 1 tire on the backhoe because we don't have tire equipment to change it out. We mowed the Union Road garage twice, mowed ditches in what we call Section 3, which is the area west of State Route 35 south of 3rd Street. So now we've taken care of a full mow of Section 1, 2, and 3, and now we're concentrating on 4, which is the military plats and over toward the VA. continued cleanup of the fallen trees and limbs that fell over the wintertime in the ditches, removed and emptied the trash cans at Calumet Center. Street sign was repaired, replaced on Pinnacle Road, and we had 4 meetings with Trustee McGuire. We're still waiting on the list from trustees on what roads that you want us to fix or try to address this year, and the equipment that you need to buy us or rent us to be able to do that work. Currently, you have 1 full-time employee, 2 part-time daytime employees with no overtime, 1 part-time evening weekend employee, no overtime. We have 1 part-time worker on injured reserve, BWC, Bureau of Workmen's Comp will not let him work the roads. And then you have me managing mostly from the office. The taking care of residents is the goal of the road department. The road crews continue to do a great job with multiple maintenance programs, and they're really, truly hitting these weed lots sooner than last year because most of them were not hired till late June. Now we've got a jump on these weed lots. So that's where we're at as the road department.
Okay. Sheriff's Department.
Captain Flagg just texted me and said that he was out on a special dispatch, so he's not able to be here to supply a report this meeting. But if anyone that are residents that have concerns, he told me to have you contact him at District 7 on Infirmary Road, and Captain Flagg would be glad to address any and all issues that you might need help from the Sheriff's Department.
All right, do you have anything on code enforcement or zoning?
Tony was out. He's out this week. He was out partial last week, so there is no report from the code enforcement office, except the fact that he has now gotten out over 100 weed lot violations in the last 2 weeks that have been mailed out. So he's prepared those letters. They are going out or have gone out already, and the residents will have a period of time to respond to those weed lot mowings before we're allowed to legally enter. We're not allowed to enter property without that legal time expiring, at which time then they will be hitting the properties one at a time, and they'll be making their rounds before they make a second trip. On zoning, I did not prepare a report because you trustees know that obviously everything's at a standstill until you hired the gentleman today. But I do want you to know there's now 18 applications here that are waiting that residents need permits for, and then there's the existing Roush legal case ongoing in the appeals court where the zoning administrator will have to actively get involved immediately. So we needed a zoning administrator badly. The other issue is that Mr. McKee will be going out on surgery leave within the next couple weeks, at which time when he goes, code enforcement will also have to be handled by the new zoning administrator that you've hired. The nice thing about this is this gentleman spent 10 years as a code enforcement officer in a larger township, and so he has the experience to handle code enforcement on top of zoning. Very experienced individual. So I thank you, trustees, for getting the team some help.
Shut up.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wolf. However, you're back up. We'll take your report.
All right, so trustees, I don't want to read off all 8 pages of the report of the things that I'm involved in, I'm working on, but I do have a couple of highlight things. Number one, unfortunately, this is for all residents and trustees. When President Biden passed the rescue package for COVID here within the last 2 months, unfortunately, when he signed it into law, it did not include townships in Ohio. So no township in Ohio is receiving any of the tax dollars from the federal government from the multi-million or billion-dollar package that was issued by the president. I have been to Columbus twice. We have staff in Columbus that have flown to Washington, D.C. to testify. I testified in Columbus twice. And we have all kinds of help going on between our federal senators and representatives. The original bill that went from the House of Representatives in Washington had the townships in Ohio included. When it went to the Senate changed the bill and took, for some reason, the townships in Ohio out. So when the bill came back to the House of Representatives, they passed it in an emergency measure, and no one knew that the townships were removed. So at this point, the township is not, Jefferson Township's not receiving any money from the CARES Act, where other communities in the Dayton area are getting over $1 million each. We may not have qualified for a full million, but we would have gotten something in that healthy range. So we continue to fight. We do have the ears of the Budget and Management Office in Washington, D.C., but I wanted to let you know that we're fighting for the people in this township and all 1,308 townships that are in Ohio. That's one of the major problems that we have right now, because all the communities around us besides townships are all getting the money and we're not getting any. The second thing is I am working on that old siren at Station 62, the road department's office. I had an electrician there recently to try to see if we can reuse that siren. It blows the siren now manually, but we are talking to the company that takes care of our other 3 sirens, Federal Signal, and they have a plan that they're going to bring to us about maybe trying to energize that siren so we'd have a 4th siren in Jefferson Township. Go along with that is I've had a meeting with one vendor, and I'm going to have a meeting with a couple others, but Code Red is the one I met with. Code Red is an alerting system for people that voluntarily opt in on their cell phones or their email. Where if we have a disaster, we can push a message out to those phones and those emails. But also there's some features where you can send out announcements, like if NAJT, the association, has a special event, we can send that out using a non-emergency portion of the Code Red. So it's going to take a while to decide, and then I'll bring to the trustees a proposal, because we do not have our own newspaper in the community, as you know. And so a lot of people do digital things today. So I'm trying to help the township communicate to its 7,000 plus residents in the least expensive way. That's all I have for my report tonight. But again, please read over all 8 pages, trustees. And if you got any questions, please get a hold of me. And residents, please, you got a question, don't be afraid to call, and I'll even come out and see you at your home as time allows. But I'm here to help the community. That's all I have.
If I may.
Who was that?
Chief Wilcox.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Wolf, what is the issue with the tornado siren there at Kimmel Lane, please?
It's not hooked into the new dispatch. So the plectron's disconnected, and the wiring is not up to code. So we have to bring the wiring up to code in order for Federal Signal to service it and connect it to the dispatch.
Have they been
as of today?
At all, do you know?
Do what?
Have they been inside the box at all, do you know?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, good.
They've been on site.
All right, well,
go ahead.
I personally turned that siren off years ago. I was instructed to by the chief at that time. I have the key to that box, I believe, in my office. But I shut it off because it was so out of balance. It was shaking the building apart, that screws, nuts, and bolts, everything was falling out every month when that thing went off. It just shook the building apart. The roof leaked. So the chief at that time told me to shut it down. I opened the box up and flipped the switch so that it would not receive the signal from RDC. So you said they've been in it, so they must have a key to it. But I just
Well,
simply switch off.
They gained entry, let's put it that way. I appreciate, Chief, I appreciate you offering your help there.
Sure.
It may not be viable to use it, but the residents in that neighborhood of Blairwood, it'd be nice to have a siren sitting right in the middle of the neighborhood if we could at all save it.
Oh, absolutely. The electronics worked fine. It set it off every single month when they put the tones up. It's just the siren out of balance. It was tearing the roof apart. Trustee Mann, chief at the time, had the roof repaired. First time the siren went off, it shook it apart and it started looking good. So that happened multiple times. But all right, just want to offer that. I was the one who turned it off. I was instructed to.
Okay, well, it is out of balance, but that's part of the service program that federal is preparing a proposal to us to fix it. So we'll see if it's cost effective, if it's what the trustees want. So I'll get with you because I might need some other pointers, okay?
Sheila Beck, do you have anything to say? Address the trustees tonight?
Yes, Sheila Beck, 1700 Alamo Court. I just, a couple things I wanted to go over. Just real quick, to kind of piggyback off of what you all were talking about with Station 62 and that siren having its issues. Hasn't that building been updated? Because I know that they were doing a lot of work in order to put in, I guess it was internet and cable TV and some other things. Have they updated that building since it is now the road department?
Sheila, this is Steve Wolf. There has been no electrical upgrades. The system is there presently. We had DPL out to look at the panel, and they explained to us that it needs upgraded. So we're trying to locate the budgeting money to be able to upgrade that panel box, because it's not only the siren that we need to upgrade, but we also have an air compressor that's been donated to the township, and the current electrical system will not handle that electric. It's still sitting as 110. So they run some power equipment to work on the truck sometimes, and unfortunately, it throws a breaker. So the electric has to be upgraded first.
Okay. Yeah, because that just kind of threw me to know that they cut that off, and we went without any kind of siren over in our area. And I do want to thank you, Chief Wilcox, because that Monday, very faintly, I heard the siren go off. It was quiet, and very faintly I heard it, and I literally had to get up and walk outside to hear it and to know. So it didn't have like the usual siren noise. It kind of like was faded. So, but I did hear it. But I had to.
Was that exactly at 12 noon or 2 minutes before?
It was 2 minutes before.
That was not one of ours. My wife, I had shoulder surgery, and I had my wife drive me out to Learning Tree Farm. I had the medic crew at Infirmary by District 7, where the Parks and Recreation siren is, and had the engine crew down at 59. We heard that go off in 2 minutes before noon. It was not one of ours. I'm thinking it was Moran's that you probably heard. And then right at 12 noon straight up, I heard on our radio it go off, and all three of us reported that the Jefferson sirens were going off. So.
Well, I didn't hear that because I stood out there for a minute because I was still trying to figure out, was that the siren that I was supposed to be hearing? So I stood out there for a minute, and I heard something. So it must have been some other area that did that. But like I said, it was really faint. So I just want to make sure that we kind of get that addressed, and I hope that they will look into that with building 62 over here at the road department, so that the residents around here will have ample time to be alerted, with all the changes going on in the world. So I'm gonna go ahead. Now, we talked earlier, today, the trustees were talking about, all the applications that was submitted for this, new, the zoning administrator. And I think at that time, it was like 14, at that time, and only one was chosen. And so it appeared to me like that only one person looked at the applications for the person that was chosen. Is that correct?
We looked at more than one.
No. I'm talking about, so as far as trustees, because I heard Trustee McLaughlin say he didn't have the opportunity to see any of the paperwork.
I did an executive session. I did get a chance to look at all the applications I wanted to look at in executive session. And made
So what I'm getting to is, so you all make a decision in executive session, and you don't get it. You get the paperwork in the executive session, and you don't get a chance to look at it. Maybe if you have questions, look up something. Everything is like instantaneously. I think that whole system needs to be revamped, because just having to make a decision in a matter of, what were you guys out? It wasn't even good 15 minutes, was it?
correct.
Yeah, and you had to make a decision about somebody you're going to hire for our township. And that this is kind of a reoccurring process. So I think you guys need to revamp that. Also, have you ever considered, with the administrative assistant, I heard the Tracy and Trustee Mann, talking back and forth. Have you ever considered at least trying a temp agency? Because they do have temp agencies for administrative secretaries and that kind of thing. I'm just throwing that out there so that could be a potential option, instead of trying to hurry up and rush this through and people don't get paid, because I would be very upset if my pension didn't go through. And I know that the people that work for our township, they deserve to have all of their paperwork taken care of as well. Steve, I did report to you about the potholes about the grass on Hopewell. And I got the email that he was going to go out there and check it out. But I wanted to find out, what is that process? Because this grass is probably maybe about 4.5 foot high now. And in order for him to go over and cut it, what do they have to do? Put something on the door? Can you explain that?
Yes, it's all described in the Ohio Revised Code. It is not a policy of the township set. The Ohio Revised Code dictates the steps that a township must take for